Hello everybody, this is Instagram, and it kind of paused me for a second, so without further ado, this is White Wolf. If you're coming onto the feed, I hope that you will enjoy the message, and also we're going to be doing a meditation as well. But I wanted to talk about love being a circle, meaning that whatever you lost in the fire, you can find in the ashes. And what I mean by this is that love is a circle. It means that everything that you think you have missed, that you think you haven't manifested yet, that you think you haven't touched on yet, will always come back around, and it always will circle back around, and it will come back around in a very miraculous, supernatural, beautiful way, and understanding that love is absolutely a circle. It will always come back around. So if we have periods of our life that it feels as if we have had a lot of learning, had a lot of discernment, having to stand in our authority, and also to set boundaries. Because love allows us to go in this big circle, allows us to go into this rotation to set boundaries. Because love allows us to go in this big circle, allows us to go into this rotation, that it gives us a lot of wisdom and a lot of lessons and a lot of healing to understand that love is a circle, and love creates space so that we can create differently, so that we can expand upon our creation in such a way that we're able to tap into that singular moment, that singular expression, that singular power, and knowing that we're tapping into each strand of that cosmic DNA, and we're taking that each strand of those parallel realities, and we're just experiencing only one little nanosecond, a little mustard seed of that energy each time. But as it grows and expands and it becomes more conscious of itself, when we understand that the way that our energy flows, that the world is not linear, but the world is in a circular motion. The vortex, whatever you want to call it in a sense, the vortex is always swirling. So our way that we create a map of deliberate creation is understanding that we have to create within that vortex. So a person asks, how do I get on the list for readings? You have to, I have a $50 special, 1 hour appointments, psychic readings, healings, activation codes, downloads. I'm doing a live feed right now that's just a general message and a meditation. So, but I wanted to talk about how we deliberately create, and how we create in a circular motion, in a circular fashion, and how we generate a sense of rotation and being able to keep spinning on its axis, and how we're supposed to access that quantum realm. And we're able to allow that vortex to swirl in such a way that allows us to tap into each parallel reality all at once, and allows us to be simultaneous, but all at the same time we're being present with the present moment, because we're able to understand that everything is in the vortex. And sometimes you have to clean out that vortex and put new things into the vortex to implement more great things out of your life. And you have to understand, by using discernment, using the law of addition and the law of subtraction, you're able to take so much out of your life and put so much into your life. And then you're able to implement so many different things all at once. And it's like a saying that one person told me, that it's great to do 5 things all at once and not be just honed in on one thing, because it allows you to expand more upon yourself, like taking up an instrument or reading about the occult wisdom or things of that nature, because you're able to swirl within your vortex with 5 things that you're using as ways of expanding, of ways of creating, of ways of not being indoctrinated by the illusion, and allowing yourself to separate yourself from what is not you and what is you, and what empowers you and what allows you to align yourself to your truest and rawest vibration, by understanding that love is a circle, and it always comes back around. It always swirls back to itself. And understanding that when you follow that circle, when you follow that rotation, when you follow how, because I do believe that in order to really understand that the world is not linear, the world is not diagonal, It's all how you make it. If your world is diagonal, then go diagonal. If you want to go left, then go right. If you want to go right, then go left. But you have to make that discernment on what the course of action it's needed to take and to generate and to try to perfect a different direction. Because if you have so many things going on at once, it's going to be a little too spontaneous for you and it's going to overwhelm you. So don't allow yourself to be overwhelmed by the journey itself, but allow yourself to have the grace overflowing to know that you can adapt to your environment and that you can adapt to the change, and knowing that the circle is that flower of life. Love is a circle, is the flower of life. Instead of going this straight line and it's very tough and it's very rigid and you skirted off the road and felt like you were experiencing the same thing because you kept going the same direction. It's like, let's say you go to a favorite store that has your favorite sneakers or maybe your favorite boots or maybe your favorite hats, you know. So, but you could go to that store in a much different direction and it will give you a different perspective. It will give you a different viewpoint of how you went to that store, of how you actually got there, of how you actually went to that store, but it was a lot the same. But it wasn't the same how you experienced it the last time. This is how you make the most of direct experience, by understanding that your experiences are solely based on how you go from a different angle, how you try something new, how you set off a different chain of action, a different chain of cause and effect, a different chain of subtracting and adding. And then you're allowing it to swirl instead of it just going in a straight line, because that's very boring. Nothing happens in a straight line because that's linearity. That's how society programs you, and that's how we feel that everything in history that they tried to sell us is true, which is absolutely not the case, because everything that they have tried to sell us, they've tried to program us. So now that we step away from the programming and we understand that we're not here to relive history, we're not destined by our fate, but we're destined by how we want to live a destiny fulfilled, in a sense. So understanding this will allow you to get that sense and that grasp that everything is not what it seems. Everything is very supernaturally organic, and that everybody has something to gain from the wisdom of their higher self. Our dogs have higher selves. Our fur babies, in a sense, have a spiritual journey. Cats are very psychic. I have a cat myself. I have a dog. They teach us about loyalty and companionship. Archangel Michael is the angel of authority. Dolphins allow us to tap into the ninth dimension. They allow us to tap into a prosperous energy. So the dragons helped us create the elementals and help us create the universe. So everything that we see in movies and TV and all of these shows that we watch, like the Marvel movies and also just TV in general, even if it's something very heinous, it's showing us something. Like I had to watch a movie one time, Unhinged, about a person who had road rage because I was once a person that would be enraged in another lifetime, and I had to heal that lifetime, and I had to look at that lifetime and see myself in that light, even though Spirit told me to watch it, even though that it was something very, crazy and outlandish. But Spirit sometimes does this so it can get us to perfect something, to heal something, to bring us back around, because the dial always comes back around, because that's why I say that love is a circle, because love is the deliberate map of creation. And we realize that if we follow it, it's never ending, it's infinity, it's always going to come back around, and it's going to bring us to the top, and then We go through those peaks and those valleys, we go through those ups and those downs, and this isn't very negative, but it's looking at it in a positive light. It's looking at it in a light to where you're not looking at it from a sense of distortion, but you're looking at it at a sense of continuation, a sense of simultaneous relativity and longevity, because we're here to experience the journey and we're here for the ride itself, but we're not here for necessarily the destination of that said ride. So understanding this will allow us to get a sense of unity, get a sense of location, and locating where we need to be at that said time, and to allow our omnipresent nature to guide us into tapping more into that unity and using our emotions as another map of creation, because it leads us back to love. It leads us back to understanding that our emotions are not here to hurt us. They're not here to distort us. They're not here to bring about anger, suffering, pain, and not healing trauma. But emotions reflect back to us, and they also give us a sense of what we are doing that's out of vibrational alignment. So emotions have a great deal of following the circle of creation, because the vortex of creation, and to get away from linearity. And also tapping into better belief systems, and also just allowing ourselves to really heal upon and expand upon our newfound creation. So every time that we make the most of an experience, we make the most of a manifestation, we make the most of a set of feelings, belief systems, ways of seeing, ways of dreaming, ways of implementing and affirming, and allowing ourselves to understand that everything will come back around if we don't feel as it is perfectly in alignment with ourselves. Because when it feels bad, when it feels like it's not really allowing us to create or generate or project this wonderment, then we realize that we've gotten off course. And that people will always say that you're in a cult, or that you're crazy, or that you're fooling people or misleading people. But it's actually just allowing everybody else to decide for themselves instead of the world deciding for you. So for the first time in your life, probably, you get to decide what you want to do with your life. You get to decide who you are. You get to confirm who you are. You get to love yourself for the first time. You get to heal for the first time, probably. And to experience everything as if it's the very first time that you've ever experienced it is really coming full circle. Because every time that we experience a movie that we really love for the first time, and we rewatch that movie as if it's the first time, and generating that excitement, and generating that sensation of that, and generating that really amazement of that movie and how it just overtook us with emotion, or just made us feel like, wow, that was very inspiring, or it was just beautiful what was happening there. And not denying that we are eternal. So understanding that we don't need to be free, but we need to allow ourselves to be free. Because we've already been free from the get-go. We've already had the freedom and the awareness and the harmony already here. We just recognize it now and we remember it. And now we're finally accepting that love is a circle. So accepting that love is a circle will allow you to have true acceptance with everything in your life. You have to accept yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to breathe in that energy of the transcendent self, the higher self. So, in understanding this is that no body is really a body. A thing isn't really a thing. Things appear, but nothing ever really disappears, because then it would not exist. But everything exists. And when we understand that abundance is existence, and feeling like something has disappeared or left us, or we're not having anything, is lack. And that's what the human conditioning wants us to tap into. They want us to tap into lack. They want us to feel bad about ourselves. They want us to hinder our vibration. But I have a better way of looking at that, is that I know that love is a circle. I know. I don't believe. I don't just say. But I know from the direct experience of that I am presence that allows me to recalibrate everything, that allows me to speak worlds into existence, that allows me to emulate that blessing. And when you allow yourself to understand that we're not here for mentors, but we are the mentor itself. We are the one infinite source of creation. We are the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, reflecting back to itself, knowing that God is reflecting God back to itself. And that's what we're here to really learn and to gauge and to understand who we are. So, understanding this is that if you reflect that vortex and everything in it that brings you joy, happiness, resonance, love, and abundance, then you're reflecting the light of Source back to your creation. And you're allowing yourself to go with the current and going with the flow and allowing everything to overflow with abundance. So, there's nothing in this world that is good or bad or right or wrong. Nothing is good or bad or right or wrong. There is no lack. So when we feel like there's lack, when we feel like there's distortion, when we make ourselves believe things instead of really meditating upon it and knowing it in our heart and our spirit and our mind and our body and our spirit, when we absolutely know for a very fact, with the experiences, with the learning, with the truth, with the discernment and the wisdom and the authority, and allowing ourselves to allow the God Source energy flow of Aqua River flow of God Source energy. When we allow ourselves to decide rather we want to go upstream or rather we want to go downstream. It doesn't matter what you choose, because ultimately it's up to you. It is your choice, and you have to discern where you want your journey to go. It will take you to where you ever want to go. It will allow you to see whatever you want to see and live by your own preferences and to express the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom in so many ways and allow everyone to use this understanding that love is in a circle and it will always come back around. So if it hasn't come back around yet, you are not late. You're right on time. You're right on schedule. You're right where you need to be. And everything in this world that breeds hate, negativity, and distortion will be triggered, and it will have to almost force itself to see itself and to realize that no matter what anybody says on this live feed, there's one person that's being blessed by this message. And that's all I have to understand, that nothing can distort your vibration. Nothing can change it. Not a person, not society. Nothing can be compromised. You have to live consecrated in your awareness, because there will always be something that will try to come in, but you don't allow it to come in because you are your own electromagnetic kinetic source energy field. And it's powerful, and nothing can penetrate it. It's an impenetrative awareness. You understand that nothing can penetrate this awareness. And if you say that nothing can penetrate this awareness, it will be that way. You will have the armor of Source. You will have the breastplate of righteousness, the helm of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, the belt of truth. And each stage that we go through within our journey, and understanding that love is a circle, and it will always come back around, and it will always be reciprocated and coming back into balance with itself and grounding itself with love, balance, unity, and harmony. So we're going to do a meditation. So anybody who would like to take part of this meditation, you can take part of this meditation. So I see that there's a lot of negative people. So we're going to meditate to allow all those negative people to be filtered out of the feed. So without further ado, this is White Wolf, and we're going to start a meditation. So feel free to take part and allow yourself to relax. Allow yourself to breathe. Allow yourself to relax your shoulders. And allow yourself to receive a bionic blue light of 12th dimensional frequency to activate your third eye activation. Mother Mary is giving you a heart activation with rose petals, with hearts, with flowers, to give you that sense of sensitivity and tapping into your divine feminine. Jesus is going to give you a solar plex chakra activation, allowing you to erase fear, any imbalances, any distortions, to give you wisdom and discernment and authority to go through your spiritual journey to be one of the prophets of this new age. So take another deep breath. Exhale. And understand that love is a circle. Understand that everything is not black and white, but there is a gray area. Your happiness is absolutely your success. The journey itself is the enjoyment of the ride of the journey, everything that encompasses the journey, everything that allows you to become the true exemplified source of creation that you want to become in this life. We're here to make the most of this incarnation. We allow our meditations to be more powerful when we don't need to have noise. We don't need to have a location. We don't need to feel like a body. We don't need to feel like anything, because it's generated from nothing. It allows us to tap into zero-point creation. It enhances everything. It allows you to see everything from a perspective that's aligned with abundance. And when something is out of kilter, that means it's coming from a space of lack, a space of unworthiness, but what we're doing at this time is that we're creating space so that we can create differently. Allow yourself to let go. And take a moment to really love yourself. Maybe for the first time. Understand that everything is the vortex. Allow your vortex to swirl. Allow your vortex to be filled with prosperity, with good health, happiness, good thoughts, great people, great locations, everything that you want, everything that you desire, everything that makes you who you are. Take a deep breath. Exhale. We are finally seeing through the eyes of God, knowing God, and accepting God within ourselves. Accepting the power that is present, and allowing to channel the energy of the new future, to be that sacred flame of creation that is lighting up the dark. The Apostle Paul is going to come and help us with healing energy. He would walk, and people would be slain in the Spirit, meaning that they would be healed to the point where they were reborn again. They were a new state of being. A state that was altered to the point of transcendence, grace, love, and wisdom. This is how Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdoms are generated and manifested. You channel your guides, your higher self, and God's source energy to the physical body to not limit the physical mind. You understand that love is a circle. Wisdom is true discernment. And light is the appearance of everything. Light is the appearance of all things. Light is the manifestation of life. Light is the first thing that came to creation. Before creation and after creation. Show yourself as you are. Show yourself as your real, authentic way of living. Live in grace and live in peace. And know that everything is living because it has a reason to exist. And if it does not exist, then it's vibrating a sense of lack. But because it exists, it means it's vibrating a sense of abundance. That you're generating your own quantum codification, your own rules, laws, and regulations. You are the destiny that wants to fulfill itself. Take one last deep breath. Exhale. When I snap my fingers, you'll come back to. You'll have a greater sense of clarity. You will know who you are. And you'll become the oracle of love, light, and wisdom. I love all of your comments. I love the people who don't know how to love. All the people that are in here right now. I respect that you do not respect what I do, and that's okay. We're all accepted and we all have our choices. We can all be who we want to be. So, if anybody would like to take on my $50 special, this is White Wolf 1 hour for appointments, psychic readings, healings, activation codes, downloads. All of you can take on the $50 special, and obviously there's a couple people in here who don't like me and will not take on the special. And yes, we are all accepted. Absolutely, we're all accepted. Well, maybe in your eyes I'm not accepted. And that's okay. And that's accepted in and of itself, and it's loved. So I love the fact that you don't accept me, and I love the fact that you really don't like me. But you know what I'll do? I'll just smile and emulate the love and the light of the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom. So thank you guys so much for this meditation. Thank you all for tuning in. And thank you for all the people who are nasty and hateful. Thank you for bringing more awareness about what goes on in this world. So thank you. And you all have a good evening.